Do not buy the AtGames Sega Genesis Flashback. Do not buy any AtGames Sega Genesis console. AtGames, the company that Sega has been licensing Sega Genesis stuff to for the past decade or so, is coming out with a new Sega Genesis Flashback system at the end of September 2017. It's supposed to be just like their old Sega Genesis consoles, as in it has a cartridge slot to play, your cartridge-based games, but it can also play games that are built into it, with this one having games such as Sonic the Hedgehog and whatnot on it. However, unlike the previous consoles, which output composite only, this one outputs an HDMI. And HDMI Sega Genesis sounds awesome. Too bad this console is, according to Gizmodo and other such media sources, hot garbage. But at the same time, I'm not exactly surprised by this, as AtGames doesn't exactly have a very good track record. So come on today as we look at why you should never buy an AtGames Sega Genesis console. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Stuff We Play, your source for everything weird, adventurous, and retro. If that sounds cool to you, why not subscribe? And today, we're looking at something that's retro-inspired, but quite crap. But before we look at this crap, let me tell you about some awesome crap from our sponsors at crapbymail.com. Surprise your friends by anonymously sending them a box of chocolate poops, or don't send them anonymously, send them as a gift. A great gift for any occasion, weddings, birthday parties, anything. Get 15% off your order with the code StuffWePlay17. And with that, let's get on with the video. AtGames has been making Sega Genesis consoles for years now. Most famously is the Sega Genesis 4, the Sega Genesis Fire Core, which is a little console smaller than the Sega Genesis Model 3 that you can commonly find at stores such as Target or Walgreens in the US, or at stores such as London Drugs up in Canada. Now this is not to be confused with the Tech Toy Sega Genesis systems that come up from Brazil. Those are extremely hard to find in North America, but from what I heard, those are actually really well built, and they're actually really cool if you can ever find one. Now despite these systems having been out for years and years, whatever hardware or software emulation they're using is extremely flawed and they never change it. I reviewed one such system that was built into an arcade joystick back in January of 2017, and I remember noting that the sound emulation was horribly off and extremely ear-grating. Furthermore, even though these systems often come with say 40 or so built-in games, only 20 of them tend to be Sega games, and the rest of them tend to be these horrible generic bootleg-esque games, like horribly non-functioning checkers or whatever. Those usually retail anywhere from $30 to $50. I was thankful enough to buy mine for $10 used. This new system, the Sega Genesis Flashback, it is going to retail for $80. Now, along with still having the aforementioned sound issues, according to those who have gone in media, but it has frame rate issues, compatibility issues. Granted, all of them have had compatibility issues, but this one is less compatible with even more games. It just doesn't work properly. Now, AtGames released a statement saying that, we've just had manufacturing issues, but I don't believe that. They've been making flawed systems for years and years and pumping them out because nostalgic people, not too different from myself, will buy anything with Sega's logo on it. Honestly, they say they're going to fix it before launch, but I don't think they will. And that's why when the Sega Genesis Flashback comes out, do not buy it. Stay away from it. And when Target starts clearing out the Sega Genesis Flashback systems they've been selling for $50 since Christmas, do not buy it. Just do not buy an AtGames Sega Genesis console. If you really want to relive your memories from back in the Sega days, go buy a real Sega Genesis. You can find the actual systems for only about $20. Or if you want to play Sega Genesis games on a modern system, buy the Sonic's Ultimate Genesis Collection. That commonly only goes for about $10, and it's just an awesome collection. It has even more games in it than any of these flashback systems from AtGames have. Now, if you have bought an AtGames Sega Genesis product, let me know. Maybe you enjoyed it more than I did. Leave your thoughts on it down below. And if you haven't, but you have memories with the Sega Genesis, leave your Sega Genesis memories down in the comments below as well. And while you're at it, why don't you subscribe to Stuff We Play for more great content and great discussions. So with that, thank you very much for watching, stay classy, and I will see you next time.